The boy kicked over his grandmother's jar and urinated on her only pair of shoes, before secretly tossing them down the chimney. Left with no shoes to wear, his grandmother had no choice but to walk barefoot up the mountain to fetch water and cook. But the boy still felt he hadn't had his fill of revenge, so he pushed his grandmother to the ground. Little did he know that these actions would leave him living with a lifetime of guilt. A few days ago, 7-year-old Jack was sent to the countryside by his mother. It turned out that the woman had gone bankrupt following a business failure and was in desperate need of work, so she asked her elderly mother, whom she hadn't seen for over a decade, to help look after her son. However, Jack, who had grown up in the city, was full of contempt for the place. He even looked down on his grandmother for being mute. So, before he even stepped through the door, he urinated on his grandmother's shoes. Afterwards, he even resented his grandmother's attempts to comfort him. Yet his mother paid no heed to whether her son could settle in. After a few brief instructions, she got up to leave. His grandmother wanted him to stay the night, but the woman refused, claiming she had to catch the last bus. Watching the bus gradually disappear into the distance, her grandmother's eyes were filled with disappointment and reluctance. Afterwards, she tried to take her grandson's hand to walk home, but Jack roughly shook her hand off. Grandmother did not take offense, but simply traced circles on her chest to express her apology. Jack did not understand the gesture, and instead mocked her, calling her a mute. Faced with her grandson's rudeness, grandmother did not get angry, but simply turned round and beckoned for him to follow. Yet Jack wore an expression of utter disdain. But however reluctant he was, in the end, he had no choice but to follow her home. At mealtime, Jack refused to eat the food his grandmother had prepared, and ate only the tinned meat he'd brought with him. When he saw his grandmother putting kimchi into his bowl, he immediately scooped it out along with the rice and pushed it back with a look of disgust. Even when his grandmother dug out the sweets she'd been saving for the new year, Jack chose to ignore them, immersing himself instead in his own world of video games. Grandma couldn't understand why her grandson disliked her so much. She could only watch silently from the sidelines, then quietly tidy up the room her grandson had made a mess of, quietly put away the toys he'd left strewn about. Even when her grandson was afraid to go to the toilet at night, she would crouch outside in the night breeze, silently keeping watch. Gradually, Jack became less resistant to her. When his grandmother needed help threading a needle, he would thread it for her, until one day, his games console ran out of power, so he asked his grandmother for money to buy batteries. His grandmother turned her pockets inside out to show him she had no money, but Jack wouldn't believe her and kept pestering her for